Hello and welcome to another episode of our Enamoured series. As you can see, we are here with Amina and this is episode 1. I have gone ahead and updated her house to reflect a little bit to do with her personality and her needs. So I just want to show you first off what I've done with the house. So let's go ahead and jump into the game and let me show you what I've done. So if you go into her house here, we have her living room, which I have updated, and it has now a little place for shoes. We've put her diploma on the wall and her graduation photo and some picture frames up here so that she can put some pictures up because she does like to take photos. We have a TV here and a little candle and an air freshener. And then we have her kitchen, which I've updated. And we put in a little rice cooker for her to cook and a little cookbook here for her to learn new recipes. And then we have a little plant here at the front door and her little nook for her to eat at and a little welcome mat at the door. And then we have her washroom, which we have updated as well, which looks super cute. And then we have her bedroom, which is beautiful. I absolutely love her bedroom. So this is her new bedroom space, which is fantastic. She's got some books here where she can read. And there's a chair in here where she can sit. She's got like an overnight bag in case she wants to go and stay with her parents. She can just pack her overnight bag and go and stay with them. And then the nursery looks like this. I just updated the nursery. Instead of making it into a different kind of room, I just kept it as a nursery and just gave it a little bit of a facelift. So this is her house and I think it looks super cute. I hope that you guys like it. So without further ado, let's jump on in and get to playing with Amina. She is just going to go ahead and cook herself a little bit of food here because she is feeling a wee bit hungry. And so we're going to let her cook here and then we'll have her go ahead and go to the washroom. And that is perfect. We love that. And then when this rice is done, we'll go ahead and we'll have her grab a bit of rice because she is feeling really, really hungry right now. So as we know, do have her in the OBGYN career. She goes to work in 2 days. It says her work from home assignment is to determine baby's gender. She needs to do that 50 times. We probably won't be working from home, so I don't know that we'll be meeting that. We're going to actually work at work. So we will let her go into her job and work. But yeah, we are going to let her go ahead and grab herself a bite of her rice meal here, which is fantastic. I would like at some point for us to try to meet the neighbor. Her neighbor is the sim that I created for her to try to get into a romantic interest with. So I do hope that at some point he comes round or she can somehow run into him and they can possibly meet and maybe they will spark up some kind of a conversation and hopefully they can get into a friendship and maybe they will be able to hopefully like one another and they could become love interest. We will just have to see how that goes. That being said, I am just going to get her to do a little bit of juggling when she's done because she does like to do her fitness. She practices juggling quite often because she enjoys fitness, and so you'll see her quite often play with her soccer ball and get some fitness up with that. So we'll just have her continue to do that, and she enjoys that quite immensely. So she is constantly trying to break her record of how many times she can kick the ball without dropping it. So we love to see her do that. but she is feeling pretty focused right now. We may at some point have her get some reading in and see if she can just do some reading, or possibly get her to do some online learning. So we'll get her to do some skill gain. Oh dear, there is an earthquake going on. We do live in a quake zone, so there are earthquakes that happen in her lot. Tremor, terror, earthquake, strap everything down. So we do have to be careful here at this house and this lot, because we do live in a quake zone, and that is something that she has to watch out for. That being said, she, I hope, will get used to that, because it is probably something that's going to happen over time. She is, as you can see, getting a little bit of studying in on the online learning system. So we are just letting her do some skill building, and we love that. What is she currently working on? I am not sure, but let's see if we can get her to work on something here. Oh, I just took her out of it. I'm going to get her to learn the baking skill, I think, and I'm going to put her back up $300 because I just screwed up and took her $300 away from taking her out of that class twice accidentally. So we have given her that money back, and she is just learning how to bake right now online. She's taking an online baking class, which we love. So she has acquired the baking skill and reached level 2 of baking. She's feeling really focused from learning new things. Amina absolutely loves learning, and she likes doing anything academic. She still needs to do some things with her academic thing, as far as get a job using a degree. We didn't do that because I put her in the OBGYN. I would have needed to put her in the doctor career instead of the OBGYN, so we may not be able to meet that task. And she still needs to reach level 7 of her research and debate skill, and she needs to contribute knowledge on a research archive machine. Being that we can't meet these get a job using a degree because she's in the OBGYN, I may switch her to something different, and we can also spend some reward points. So I'm going to go ahead and look here and see what we can spend. I am going to go ahead, I think, and get her the frugal trait so that we can have a reduction in our bills, and we are going to love that. And she's already to baking level 3. We are loving that. She is flying through this skill building. Maybe we could have, I thought we were going to have maybe like a welcome party at the house. And if we could have a welcome party, her neighbor would come over, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. So maybe we could go to his house and meet him, or we could maybe go to the park and meet him. I don't know. Does he live here? I can't remember where he lives. I think he lives here. I'm going to visit this residence. I think he lives here. And let's see if we can go and meet this sim. So I'm just going to get her to knock on the door. I don't know if this is his house or not. I can't remember if this is. If it is, then we'll have her knock on the door, and maybe she can get to meet him. Hopefully this is the right property. I just don't know if this is where I placed him or not, so I can't quite remember. It is. So this is Micah McKnight. This is the sim that I have placed in the world for her to meet and get to know better. So we're going to go ahead and do a respectful introduction with him. He is a young adult sim just like her. She has learned that he is creative, ambitious, and family oriented. And let's see what she thinks about him. She thinks that he is very attractive, and she thinks that he is responsible. This sim appears to be a very responsible person, capable of taking care of stuff and willing to care for others. He thinks that we are pretentious. This sim seems to be a rather pretentious person. Okay, well, first impressions aren't everything, so we're hoping that he won't hold that against us, but we're going to go ahead and share brilliant ideas with him, and we can discuss the neighborhood changes with him. Maybe his first impression of us might change a little bit, and we can have a deep conversation with him and just try to kind of get to know him a little bit. We can compliment his house, and we are going to compliment his outfit. So they are just spending a little bit of time trying to get to know one another here, and we are hoping that they are going to be able to strike up quite a friendship and maybe some romance. I am wanting them to obviously like each other. Hopefully that would be fantastic if that could take place. She's just trying to give him some flowers and do a little bit of, light flirting with him. So they have gotten up quite a bit of friendship, it looks like. She's just going to ask him if he wants to go out and cloud gaze for a little bit, and we'll see if they're going to go and do that. And hopefully that will get their friendship up a little bit more. She is hoping that they can kind of get to know each other. She's like, I noticed that you were new to the neighborhood. And he's like, yeah, I am. And she's like, I also am new to the neighborhood. I just moved here. I used to live in Evergreen Harbor. And he's like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, but then I was at the Foxbury Institute. And he's like, oh, what did you do there? And she's like, oh, well, I was a biology student, and I just got my degree. And I moved here because I got a position at the local hospital. I am an OB/GYN. And he's like, really? That's fascinating. And she's like, yeah, I really appreciate your interest. And he's like, absolutely. And she was like, I just really want to, help the women in the neighborhood and in the area to have the best possible outcome when they're, delivering their babies and things like that. And he's like, that's really noble. And she's like, oh, I really appreciate that you think that. I really have a passion for it. And he was like telling her that he thinks that is really admirable. And she's like, I don't think that enough women think that this is important. And women's health care is extremely important to me. And also, taking care of the little ones is also very, very important. And he's like, I think that I would agree with that statement. And there aren't enough people out there that understand the importance of that. So they're just talking about all this while they're cloud gazing. And she's like, well, what is it that you do? And he's like, actually, I'm an author. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, do you have any have you sold any books yet? And he's like, no, I haven't sold any books yet, but, I'm hoping to change that. Obviously, I'm working on a couple of things, and I'm hoping that soon I'll be a best-selling author. But right now, I'm just getting started. And she's like, oh, well, that's still pretty fascinating. Like, what kind of stuff do you write? And he's like, all different kinds of stuff, but mostly fictional books. And she's like, oh, okay. He's like, but I want to kind of dabble in a little bit of everything. So she's going to ask him if he's single, and they're going to try to do a couple of romantic things. She's going to do a little bit of flirting with him, and she obviously thinks he is pretty attractive, and she's she's not blind. She is attracted to him, and she's like, I can tell that, obviously I'm attracted to this guy. I would like for there to be something there. Amina has learned Micah's romantic stuff. He's still exploring. So they are kind of getting up a little bit of romance, and he just jumped in her arms. He's like, I clearly am into you too. Okay, we love that. So they are just holding hands and kind of flirting a little bit, which is super cute. And she's realizing that maybe there might be something there. She has never really felt these feelings. She has dated around in high school. She dated around in college. And she is like, you know, kind of feeling the warm and fuzzies with this guy. And she's thinking, could there be something there? Is there, you know, is there something here that, you know, I am feeling? Because I really feel like maybe there could be something here. And she is really feeling like they could be something. And she's going to go ahead and exchange numbers with him and just tell him, like, do you think that we could maybe exchange phone numbers? I would really like to call you sometime and us chat again. You know, obviously I don't want to take up all of your time. I know that you're probably pretty busy. I just wanted to come and, you know, congratulate you on the move and welcome you to the neighborhood, but I don't want to take up all of your time. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Let's exchange numbers. I would love to keep in touch. So she's going to go ahead and head on home, and she is feeling super flirty. She's thinking, that went so well. I am really, really liking the fact that I, you know, decided to go out on a limb and go meet him and welcome him to the neighborhood. I never usually do that. That was a little forward for me, but I'm so glad that I kind of did, you know, gather up the courage to go meet someone new. And, you know, I think that went amazingly. And the fact that he and I hit it off as well as we did is shocking. And she is feeling really, really good about it. Other than the fact that her high maintenance trait is making her feel like she's having the worst day ever. But she's feeling great. So Amina is thinking to herself, like, this is amazing. I really think that something could come of me and Micah. I don't really know what I'm going to do because, as we know, she is currently in a relationship with Haruto. And she's like, I probably should call Haruto over and just tell him that I've met someone. She doesn't know what's going to happen with her and Micah, but she definitely knows that there's something there. And she's thinking, if I don't tell Haruto that I have found someone else that I'm potentially interested in, it could really be bad. So this is Haruto, her boyfriend, and so she's going to invite him in. She is going to obviously, you know, have a conversation with him, and she's just going to tell him, how are you doing? She's going to give him a little kiss on the cheek, and she's going to say, you know, how are things going? I haven't seen you in a while, and are you doing okay? Like, we haven't chatted. We haven't had any kind of conversation since school. And he's like, oh, you know, I've just been really busy. And she's like, well, so have I. I mean, I just moved and I just graduated and everything, but, you know, I still thought I would hear from you. And he's like, oh, well, you know, things are just really busy for me and I didn't think about it. And she's like, you didn't think about me? And he's like, don't make such a big deal out of it. And she's like, okay, well, I just want you to know that, you know, I have met someone new. And so she's going to tell him that she has met someone new, and she's going to tell him, you know, I found myself a career, and I have obviously decided that I'm going to live here in San Sequoia. My life is kind of moving in a different direction than yours. I don't know necessarily that you and I are really going in the same direction, and I think that maybe, you know, you and I are, you know, just not really meant to be in the long term. I think that we were great when we were in college, and that was all well and good, but like, maybe we're just not right for us. Like, we have different morals, we have different backgrounds, we have, you know, different beliefs, and like, we were great when we were just dating, but like, I don't think that everything about us is just like, I just don't think we're right for each other. And so she's going to tell him, like, I've kind of found somebody new, and I'm thinking that I want to break up. And he's like, seriously? And she's like, yeah, I think that maybe you and I shouldn't be together anymore. So she's going to break up with him. And Mom is sending us a text message saying, hey, I heard you became friends with Micah McKnight. He's pretty cool. Mom, how do you know Micah? Okay. They're just fighting. He's getting really, really angry with her. And she's like, there's no sense in us arguing. There's no sense in you getting angry with me. At the end of the day, we're just two very different people. And I really do think that maybe we just aren't meant to be. And he's like, you know what? You're probably right. And so she is going to break up with him. So she is breaking up with Haruto. And they are no longer going to be together. Oh, he's crying. He's clearly very upset about it. And she's not going to embrace that she's non-committal, because I don't want her to be non-committal. It just is that she hasn't found the right person yet. So she has broken up with him. They have a little bit of a sentiment here. He is deeply... she's deeply wounded. Some wounds take a long, long time to heal. Being around Haruto brings up painful memories for Amina, and he's also deeply wounded. So they are going to go ahead and she's going to ask him to leave. She's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm just kind of hanging out. And she's like, I think maybe you should just go ahead and leave. So he's going to go ahead and he's going to go home. She's like, there's no sense in you kind of hanging about. So he's going to go on home. She has broken things off with him, and she's like, you know, that was a little bit awkward, but I feel like I did the right thing. I am, you know, clearly not supposed to be in a relationship with him. He didn't even, you know, he hasn't talked to me since graduation, and clearly I wasn't on the top of his priority list, and, you know, I just don't feel like he was the right person for me. This is also her ex, Manua. Malcolm Landgrab and I were planning to spend some casual friend time together. Should I do it? I mean, yeah, sure. What? I don't care. So she's feeling pretty enraged. She's just trying to cheer herself up in the mirror here. And we're going to let her do that. And then she's going to need to grab herself a serving of food because she's feeling a little bit hungry. But she's just really angry at the whole kind of scenario. She dislikes cooking. No, she doesn't. Because the whole kind of thing about it is like she's kind of shocked that he didn't try to talk to her. He didn't tell her goodbye when she was leaving the community, like university housing. He didn't come to her graduation. He hadn't talked to her since she graduated. Like she's literally not heard anything from him. And then he's like all shocked that she's, you know, breaking things off. Like, I've literally not heard from you at all. And it's been days. And you're shocked that I want someone that's a little bit more attentive to me? Like, why would you be shocked by that? So she's kind of angry about that whole situation, but also she's thinking, like, there's a potential in my life for something way better. Like, I'm starting over. I'm settled in this new town and this new career with my degree, and I'm starting, fresh, and I don't need this. And so she's like, now I've met Micah. There's clearly something there. I don't know where it's going to lead, but I am extremely attracted to him. We have some romantic interest there. And she's like, I really feel like, you know, I need to pursue that. And if you look at his panel, it says there's the connection of curious hearts. This is shaping up to be a beautiful romance. So they are clearly, you know, building something. And she's like, I've got to, you know, pursue that. Who are you? Christopher Michelson. Okay, Christopher Michelson, why are you at our house, and what is it that you need? So she's going to invite him in and see what it is that he needs. She's like, hello, how are you? And he's like, hi, I just wanted to come and welcome you to the community. And she's like, oh, thanks. And he's like, I heard that we had a new person move in. How are you? And she's like, I'm doing well. And he's like, are you the new doctor? And she's like, yes, I am. I am an OBGYN. And he's like, that's fantastic. So you're going to be starting at the hospital. And she's like, I surely am. And he's like, well, that's really exciting. And she's like, yeah, it really is. How are you? And like, what's your name? And he's like, oh, I'm Christopher. And she's like, oh, well, it's really nice to meet you. My name's Amina. And well, you already know that I'm, going to be at the hospital. So, I really appreciate you coming by to invite me into the neighborhood. I think that's really great. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, how are things at the place? And are you liking the town? And she's like, so far, everything's really great. Everyone's really nice. I haven't really met a whole lot of people, but the people that I have met have been fantastic. And he's like, oh, well, it's really great to hear that. And she's like, yeah, it's been really great. I'm really liking my place, and I'm hoping that the job's going to be great, but I really need to go to bed if you want to let yourself out. So she's going to go ahead and head off to bed, and we will see her in the morning. So it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. Amina has risen, and she is just going to go and get some bladder needs taken care of, and then she's going to work on some online learning. We're going to do some skill building. I think I'm going to let her work on some of her research and debate skill, because she does need to raise that up. So we're going to get her working on that. And then I am going to, she keeps thinking about kids, which is, super endearing. Even though she's kind of neutral about kids, she keeps kind of thinking about kids because she's thinking about her life. And I love that for her. But I am going to get her working on her research and debate. She does go to work in 5 hours, so she'll be going off for her first assignment, and she's super excited about that. She's so excited about it that she is obviously up really, really early. She can't sleep. She's just so, under so much adrenaline from being anticipatory about it that she's like, I can't even sleep. I'm so excited about my first shift. So we will be seeing her go off in 4 hours time to work, and she's thinking about her mother, and she's just like, my mother would be so proud of me. My dad would be so proud of me. And I am, I want to do them right. I want them to be proud. And so I've got to do good at my first day. I am going to get her to go ahead and get herself something to eat here. So let's go ahead and get her something to eat. So we'll get her to grab a serving of food, and she can go ahead and have a bite, and then she'll be able to head off to work because she's got to work in an hour. All right, Amina, you need to go ahead and get ready for work. You work in 10 minutes time. So why don't you go ahead and change into a different outfit, switch to your everyday outfit. There you go. And then you can go ahead and go to work. Why did you not go to work? Well, she didn't go to work. Oh, it's Harvest Fest. That's why she didn't go to work. Well, crud.
Ooh, Sequoia. Narble.
All right, so it's Harvest Fest, so she is not going to work because she has obviously the day off due to it being Harvest Fest. She's just coming in here and appeasing the gnomes, and hopefully we will make everybody happy and we won't get, oh no, we've pissed someone off. That's not good. Let's go ahead and try to make this one happy. We're probably going to have to try to plead for forgiveness from this one and hope we don't get electrocuted. That's not going to be good. Should have gave that one coffee, maybe. Oh, no. Well, that's not good. All right, so she got herself electrocuted. We hate that for her. She's like, are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, I know. It sucks. What does she want to do? She has a thankful spirit is what she wants to do for this holiday. We love that. So maybe we will go over to our family for Harvest Fest. And so I'm going to go ahead and leave this episode here, and we will do Harvest Fest in the next episode. So we will be visiting with our family to celebrate Harvest Fest with them. So I'm going to leave this one here, and we'll do that in the next episode. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you are notified when new episodes go live on the channel. And I will see you guys in our next episode, where we will be celebrating Harvest Fest with our family. And until next time, I'm going to go ahead and fly for now. Bye, Ravens.